Hello, dear sports family. Welcome back. My name is Faith Lynch, and we are back in business. We took a small break because of volleyball season, but we are back with a very special guest today. Coach Mitch Thompson was selected as the 20th head baseball coach in program history. He led the MCC Highlanders to the 4 NJCAA Region 5 and Southwestern Division District Championships, 4 NTJCAC Championships, a second-place finish at the 2015 JUCO World Series, and the 2021 NJCAA Division I Baseball National Championship. After 9 seasons as the head coach of McLennan County Community College and previous 18 years as the assistant at Baylor, Coach Thompson brings more than 30 years of coaching experience to his first season as a Baylor head coach in 2023. Coach Thompson, thanks for coming in today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Faith. Great to be here.
Of course. Well, welcome home. Welcome back to Baylor. How does it feel?
I've never left Waco, but no, it's great to drive up to the ballpark every day and to be doing what we're doing. I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, there's just been so much hype, and I'm a volleyball player and so excited for baseball season. So we're just ready for y'all to get started. But can you walk us through this past off season and kind of what training has looked like leading up to this coming season, the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, we got started in August when school started, and basically was in off-season workouts for about 6 weeks. Lifting, running, trying to get a little feel for where we were with all the guys, and taking a look at our roster. Our roster was a little bigger this year than we normally will have. Okay. And then we got cranked up into fall ball and went through our fall ball period. I don't know, 5 weeks. 4 or 5 weeks, 29 days, whatever it worked out to be. And, inter-squatted a lot and got a chance to kind of start lining things up for our guys. Once that was over, we, had another week or so of school, and then we were done. So, it's important for us to make sure our guys stayed in shape and kept working over the Christmas holidays so that they come back here ready to get going and crank it up this spring.
Is that an issue for y'all sometimes? I know it's kind of awkward to have a holiday right.
Well, it's really tough. I mean, it's hard on the guys. You've got to really trust your guys. Your guys have got to be disciplined, because if they're not, they won't come back in arm shape. They won't come back in leg shape.
Right.
You'll have pulled hamstrings. You'll have things start happening to you that limit the guys early in the year. Guys will have to be shut down on the mound, and you'll have to kind of build them back up, and it just takes time. So it's really important that the guys do a great job in the off season, especially over Christmas break, at staying on a good, solid throwing program that we'll give them, and then continue to run and lift and be in shape leg wise.
Yeah, for sure. I think that speaks a lot to the players you're bringing in too. Is you want them to be disciplined and take control and have ownership of their team because you're starting season.
Well, yeah, and they're all most of them are. They do a great job of it for the most part. I mean, they're all interested in their personal development as players as well, and they realize that, hey, the spring's coming and it's my opportunity to show out and to really compete. And so, they want to be on top of it too, but it just makes it more difficult when you're doing it by yourself and you're spread back out all across the country. And who knows, what kind of weather issues you're dealing with, what kind of facility issues you're dealing with. It'd be a whole lot easier if we could just keep them here and do it all together. Right. But the holiday season kind of gets in that way.
Yeah, for sure. So when building your team, obviously, first year head coach, back to Baylor, have a lot of connections at MCC. Transfer portal is huge. Guys staying on the team. What are you looking for when you're wanting to build your dream team? This team is going to win a national championship.
Well, it's a process. It's a process as it gets going, and you just got to really start building and start really recruiting the type of kids that you want, the type of players that you want. I always talk to our coaches, and our coaches understand this very well. We're really, I say it all the time, I'm looking for 3 things in the players that come here and play. I want a baseball playing fool. I want somebody who loves it, who can't get enough of it, who eats it, drinks it, sleeps it. I want hitters to be the guys that we're having to go out to the cages and say, hey guys, it's time for you to shut it down today. You've had your 500 swings, move on. That's enough. Yeah. So you've got to have those guys with that passion and vision for where they're going in the future. I mean, I want all of our guys to want to play Major League Baseball. If you don't want to play Major League Baseball, then I'm going to have to kick you to work as hard as I want, and I don't want to be in that position. So we're looking for that. We're looking for guys that are good fits for Baylor academically. Being a partial scholarship sport, we need guys who can get the academic scholarship money to make Baylor a really affordable choice for them. And our guys have always done a great job of that. So we're looking for good students, and good students are going to show the discipline in the classroom. It'll also carry over onto the field. Guys who aren't disciplined in the classroom, it's really hard to trust those guys on the field as well.
Sure.
So we're looking for that. And then the third thing is we just want really good people. I just don't have time to be wasting time trying to babysit somebody 24/7. I want good people who come from good families, who understand the opportunity that they have here in front of them, and that really want to invest in themselves while they're here. Because I consider this to be an investment. You come to Baylor, it's an investment. It's your investment in your future, and you're creating the opportunities for yourself that are going to carry you the rest of your life. And so we got to find the right guys, and we want bigger, faster, more physical, stronger guys all the time. So we're starting the process, and we're recruiting those guys, and we're starting to bring them in, and we're just going to continue to try and recruit better and better and better every year, and that will show up on the field and bring a lot more wins.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like just me going through the recruiting process, being a Baylor family, like Baylor is such a special place, and so I think it's awesome to hear staff recognize that and okay, this is such a special place. You get to set yourself up for life. And I mean, just me as an athlete, we have so many resources, and I feel like I've made so many connections. I have podcasts. If you'd have asked me freshman year if I had podcasts, I would not have believed you. So it's just really cool that athletics gets to provide you so many things, and not only, sure, we play baseball, but setting you up for life. And this is the life you get to choose and to be disciplined, and sets you up for success. So
well, we're unique. We're not a 60,000 student campus.
No.
We're not a concrete jungle. Your professors are going to know your name here in the classroom. The people that you go to class with, you're going to know their names. They're real people. You're going to develop relationships that'll last you forever. I say we're different. One of the things I'm probably the most blown away by is, we've always had team chaplains and things like that, but now that I'm back as the head guy, I have a full-time, I've got a $25,000 team chaplain position. I mean, Baylor's not only concerned about your athletic career, your academic career, developing you as a person, we're concerned about your eternity. And we want to make that investment, and it separates us. We're different.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? It's going to take special people that we're going to have to recruit. We're not here for everybody. This is not the right place for everybody. But there's sure a lot of people that'll fit this mold and that want this for their education, their opportunity, and we're going to go out and find them and bring them in here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've always said, I am biased, but Baylor people are just good people. And it's hard to tell other people that don't get that. I'm once you get here, you just know, people are just awesome. But so kind of going through the JUCO addition to the team, do you prefer to get a guy out of a JUCO? Do you really like the portal? Do you want someone fresh out of high school? What is do you prefer anything?
I think right now we're going to be a kind of a mixture of all of them.
Right.
I think we're going to have to be involved in the portal.
Okay.
There's going to be there's too many kids being recruited to too many different schools that can't be happy, that can't get the playing time that they're looking for. Something's going to be different, with kids committing as early as they are. I think kids are making poor decisions. Mm-hmm. Schools are rushing those decisions on those kids. And so, the schools are making poor decisions too. And then you get the kid in at your place, and, he's not the player that you thought he was going to be because you're recruiting him 3 years in advance. And so there's lots of turnover there. We're going to have to be involved in the portal some, but I want to supplement our roster with the portal. Okay. I want to supplement our roster with the junior college players. I think the junior college kids can really get a value out of Baylor too, and that you can come here for 2 years and pay the higher tuition costs, but you're going to end up with the same Baylor degree that somebody who's been here 4 years is, but you've paid about half.
Right. No,
and so that's a heck of a deal.
It is.
So I think we can find good fits there as well, but I really want to build our team through the high school ranks. It's the only way you can create stability on your roster. It's the only way that you can, One of the things that I always missed at the junior college is I missed the senior being able to come in and put his arm around a freshman and go, hey, man, it's going to be all right. All right. Pick yourself up. Yeah, it's hard right now. You're going to have to fight through this. But I was right where you're at. It's going to be okay. Follow me. Yeah. We didn't have that at the junior college level. And you won't have that if you're going into the portal all the time and bringing the junior college guys here, because those guys are concerned about their own careers. They want to make it happen right now. And then if they're ready to move, they're ready to move. But the freshmen, you're able to build things around. You're able to really retain your culture and keep it going. So we want to build through the high school ranks if we can. We're going to supplement it through the junior college and the portal, and try and put the best product we can out on the field.
Yeah, that's awesome. So many great things just then. I committed the end of my freshman year of high school. So, I mean, I was thankful enough to know Baylor and know that I was going to be okay. But still now, I mean, I have friends at different places that are in the portal, jumping around. And so it's so hard, especially for girls. I mean, I feel like it's like I was been the same height since I was in 7th grade. So I wasn't going to grow a whole lot. But for boys, I mean, I have a brother, and I feel like every time I see him, I'm like, you're huge. Like every time it just gets
it's really hard to prognosticate what this guy's going to be like 3 years from now. Yeah. It's hard enough to do it 1 year from now, to recruit a kid after his junior year of high school, which is what we've always done in the past until the last 5 or 10 years.
Right.
Okay. You watched him to junior year, and now you're guesstimating where's he going to be another year in progress. It's hard enough to do that, let alone do it when a kid's a sophomore in high school. And the other thing is, I think sometimes we're creating some of these portal issues because we're telling these kids how great they are as a sophomore in high school, and they believe it. And we're telling them again as a junior how great you are. We love you, we love you, we love you. And then when the kid gets here and everything's not as easy as, man, I'm not as great as I was. Yeah. I'm not, and the coach is not giving me quite as much time as I thought. I think sometimes the college programs are creating this portal issue. So we just want to be really attentive of our guys and really we want to recruit guys that we want to work with, and we want to recruit guys that want to be worked with, and so that's what we're working for.
For sure, that's awesome. And I know it was really special for me coming in my freshman year to have those seniors wrap their arm around me and say, "Hey, like it is going to be okay. Like I was in your shoes." And so I think again, like just to speak on that is great because that's huge. That's what builds a program, like depth.
Well, and hold you accountable. Hey, man, we go to class. You're going to get up and go to class. Yeah. If I have to drag you to class, we're going to class. Those type of things all are a part of your culture, and it's you need the upperclassmen here. You need the guys who have grown up and grown through the program to have that kind of set culture where it happens every year. Yeah. I don't want to be redoing our culture every year because we're redoing our team with half a team of transfers and half a team of JUCO guys, and everybody's just in the mode of trying to figure out how to get out of here and get to the professional baseball. Yeah. I want guys who want to be here at Baylor and want to make this place great.
For sure. So I had the opportunity to sit in on one of your camps. I have a younger brother, and so he went, and it was probably one of your first times to really, I guess, like speak to like Baylor people just because camps were so early. And I just remember sitting in the stands, and you just were going on and on about like how we're changing the program, how we're going to do this, we're going to raise good young men. As a sister, I was like, that's awesome. I was just ready to run through a brick wall. I was like, if anyone else isn't fired up.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, but I'm glad you wanted to, and I'm glad you didn't.
I'm like, if you're not fired up, get out. Like, come on, this is awesome. And so how have you been able to just to kind of carry over this mentality to your players? Just, I mean, it is a fresh start. Like you said, you have transfer guys, JUCO guys coming back. How have you been able to set that team culture?
We're just we're gonna try and treat people the way we want to be treated. I mean, it's the golden rule, right? And so, you won't ever hear at our place, hey, that's a freshman job, or, hey, no, I want leaders, man. I want guys who are going to go they see something that needs to be done, they're going to get it done. It's our job. And so we just, we're all in this together. We're pulling the rope together. There's not one player that's higher up than another player. There's not one coach that's higher up than another coach. I mean, when we're out there pulling the tarp, hey, my tail's out there pulling the tarp. Yeah. And if the head coach is out there helping with the pull of the tarp, then everybody else better get in line and start pulling the tarp. Yeah. And so it's just one of those things. I think we can create it as a coaching staff. I think we encourage it through our leadership of our team. And everybody's of value, and we need all of us. And we're, the one thing that I've been preaching since I got the job is together, together, together. Yeah. We're going to build this thing together. We need the fans. We need the support of our administration. We need our players. We need the high school coaches in the state of Texas. We're going to build this thing together, and we're going to keep creating really good players and really good teams and really good kids that come out of this place. And so other people will want to come and be a part of us. That's what the whole thing is. But it's a together mentality. It's less me and more we. And that's kind of what we're going with in any aspect of our program from day one until the end. And the guys pick up on it, and they're all in on it. And
Good.
one of the things we do is I think it's a big thing. I tell our guys, I want you to find your teammates doing good.
Yeah.
And let them know. So we're out there at practice, and we'll see somebody during BP, and he takes a good swing, and the three guys next to the cage, hey, atta baby, good cut. You'll see a shortstop make a big time play on a ground ball, and somebody from the outfield will be yelling, atta baby, nice play. So we're always picking each other up, and when you get that mentality going all across your field, there's a lot of positivity, and everybody wants to be acknowledged for their effort.
For sure.
And so when you're doing that and you do well, it kind of creates the more atmosphere, and it just builds upon itself.
For sure. I think one of the things that we do in our gym as well is like praise the good things. Like if you see something happen, like we want it to be repeated, so let's praise it. And then at the end of practice, we'll always like get in a circle and say shout outs of like, oh, hey, you did so great today because of effort. And I think that's another thing just to like highlight on is like, yeah, you could be such a great pitcher, such a great hitter, but like your effort, like you're helping build the team. And like that's another contribution, and especially so early, you need all the good mojo you can get.
Well, not everybody can be the starting shortstop. Not everybody can be the starting pitcher, but the guy who's the one inning guy or the one out guy on the mound, and the guy who's the defensive replacement or the pinch runner, they all bring value to the team. So we've got to find that in everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you're only as good as your bench.
No question. So. I mean, the strength of the team is the same as its weakest link. That's what it is. So wherever the weakest link of the chain is, that's where the strength of our team is. That's what it is. So
for sure. And such a high competitive level baseball program. How do you create that healthy competition for your athletes? I mean, I know even in our gym, like sometimes it's a struggle of like, you're my best friend, teammate, roommate, but we're in the same position. Only one of us gets to start. So how do you keep that healthy competition?
Well, I think it's been easy for us this fall in that I'm new, and I'm new. Our coaching staff is new, and so every player is starting from scratch. And hey, man, every job's open. Go get it. You want it. We've had a bunch of guys out there, and they're working real hard. But I think it's just it's who you recruit. I've had guys in the past. I remember here in my previous stint here having guys where I'd recruit them, and the kid would say, "Hey, coach, this school's promised me the starting position. Will you guys promise me the starting position?" I haven't promised a starting position in my life to anybody. I'm never going to. I'm not going to set myself up to be a liar on that deal. Hey, you want the starting job? You're going to have to come earn it, man. And guess what? We're going to be good enough that there's going to be other guys around you that are going to push you. If you don't want to compete, wrong place. Don't come. And so it starts with recruiting. You get guys who love to compete, who love to be pushed, and and what you end up finding is that when you have those guys who push you in practice every day, you look up and you go, man, they're getting better. I'm making them better, but they're making me better too. And so together we rise everybody's boat, and everybody gets better. You've got to have the competition to get on the field, and you've got to have it. But you've got to have good people who understand that you can only have one starting shortstop. You can only have, one Friday night pitcher. That's it right there, right? I mean, Sure.
No, that's good. I mean, I feel like I chose Baylor because I wanted to compete. I feel like you train. So, I've been playing since I was 8, and so same with these guys. Baseball, you can play forever and just keep going. And I'm like, you want to play at the highest level. You want to continue to get better. Like iron sharpens iron. Just
no doubt.
Why would you want to go to a program and be average and be a starter?
And I say that I want every one of our players to play in the big leagues, and I'm not hesitant to tell them that during the recruiting process. Do you actually think you're going to get to the big leagues without competing?
Oh.
I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
Do you just fall to the top of the mountain?
No.
Nobody falls to the top of the mountain. You got to climb. You got to claw. You got to scrape your way there. And so pretty simple concept, man. You want to be better as a player, you need people to push you every day, where you realize that, hey, today, this ground ball work that I'm doing, it's the most important thing, and I got to catch this ground ball because if I don't, he's going to. And you know, that kind of competition, it just really breathes into your culture, and it makes your club better.
Yeah, that's awesome. So good. So I was able to talk to one of your previous players, Mark Codgill. I'm actually roommates with his daughter right now.
How about that?
Been so fun.
Yeah. Great to see former players sending their kids to Baylor, right?
Yes.
You being a sixth generation.
It's been awesome. It just, again, goes to show that Baylor's a good place. So keep coming back.
That's awesome.
But I was able to speak to him and just a couple other guys about how you're truly a man of faith and how you've incorporated that into your coaching style. Being at MCC, did you feel like you had to kind of shy away from that? Do you feel like it's always been part of your style? Now back at Baylor, what are your thoughts?
No, it's always been part of the style. It's always been the people that I've been around. I mean, when I was at Mississippi State, Ron Polk was into FCA and believed in that, and Hal Baird at Auburn, and then here, you know, I mean, I always wanted to be around Christian guys, you know. And you know, when I say I'm a Christian and a man of faith, I am, but I am far from perfect. I'm a really good sinner. Okay, and the good news is that I'm forgiven, and that's what being a Christian is, you know. But you know, we're striving to try and grow these kids up, and you know, I'm to the point in my career for sure where I realize that I want to win a national championship like nobody's business. I want to win like nobody else. I mean, I want to win. Okay, as bad as anybody else wants to win, I want to win. But I'm not willing to win at all costs. I'm not willing to win without the personal side of things, because at the end of the day, and I've won a national championship before, and it was cool. But I remember feeling, so that's what it is. That was really cool, but that's it, huh?
Wow.
It's a national champ, huh? And you know, but the things you won't forget, you talk about Mark Cogdill, you talk about those guys. The things that matter are truly the relationships that you build. Yeah. And so for me and for our staff, I want our guys to make enough of an impact on these kids' lives that we're their friends for the rest of their life, that they want to be around us, that they know us, that we care about them. I tell all my guys that I recruit right now, I said, hey, my goal for you is that we make enough impact on your life while you're here that when I die, you want to come tell my two daughters that you love their dad. The only way that happens is if we serve our players. If we serve them, then we'll have that relationship, and those kids will understand that, hey, there might be some hard coaching moments. There might be some times we got to kick them in the butt and help push them. But at the end of the day, they end up being thankful for us holding them accountable for calling them out to greater heights. Yeah. And so that's what it's about. It's about developing kids and using the game of baseball to do it. And while we're at it, we want to win.
That's awesome. No, and I think something that I didn't really realize coming to college that I was going to need is that faith aspect. I feel like I say all the time of I could not play anywhere else besides Baylor just because it's so tough. Like competing at the D1 level, like it's a true grind. And so to not have like that faith aspect, or to not have your coaches look at you at the end of the day and say, you are still an amazing person, and like you're still so valuable besides of what your performance was on the court or field today, it means a lot. And I think just for the mental health aspect of it, making sure kids are okay, and it's a grind. So
well, and Baylor makes it an easy place to do those things, to really pour that faith into them, and that is one of the really cool things about this place. We don't have to tiptoe around it. We don't have to apologize for it. We don't have to worry about, you know, Big Brother coming in and attacking us for pouring that faith into our kids. You know, and I was blessed over at MCC. Our president is a great friend and a strong Christian lady, and you know, she believes in everything that we did. We're pouring into these kids, so you know, I mean, we were able to do that over there, and you know, I don't think I'd be coaching somewhere if I couldn't do that. Yeah. You know, and like I say, I'm far from perfect, but I think the guys are going to know my heart, and they're going to know that I care about them, and that I care about who they are and where they end up eternally. Yeah. So. If I say I love my players, how can we not pour into them spiritually? Yeah. How can we not pour into that part of their life when that's probably the biggest thing the biggest decision they'll ever make is, what do you say about Jesus? Yeah. Okay? If I love them, how can I not pour into them like that? So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think to just kind of go back to like the Christian athlete, I'm like, yeah, like we still want to win. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're still going to be good people, but in the day, like, we're going to win. And so I just feel like there's always this kind of like misconception of like, oh, the Christian athletes, they're just so, I'm like, no, we're here to win. Like, we're going to come and take some names. So, yeah, I think Baylor has a great job of keeping that at a good balance.
Well, excellence is a big part of it. So that's, if you're always striving to be the best, then I think you're doing okay.
For sure. It's awesome. So obviously you have been coaching for about 30 years, which is just awesome. So much experience, so much knowledge. You've been able to learn from Ron Polk. What are some key takeaways that you've been able to add to your coaching style, or anyone else that you feel like you've been able to pull things out of to create your own style?
Well, I'm one of those guys who's I'm stealing from everybody. I don't know that I've created anything, that I've developed anything. Seriously, I mean, there's been some things I've tweaked a little bit, maybe put my style on, but I'm always looking to learn, and as a young coach, I couldn't have been more blessed to have been around Ron Polk. I mean, if I would have picked one guy in the country that I could have started my career with, it probably would have been him, and that's who I got to start with, and awesome. That's where you look up and you go, that's a God thing.
Yeah.
And so you learned about dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and about the importance of every little detail and doing things the right way, and planning out your practices to the minute, and then stick them by them. And then I went to Auburn, and I learned from Hal Baird that there's more than one way to do things.
Yeah.
And that Hal Baird was, such a good person and cerebral mind in the game. And there's two different ways and styles to do things. And so you learn there. And then I came here and I worked with Steve Smith, and Steve was a great guy. And, we had good success. So I was blessed to work around a lot of good people. And, I'm just trying to pick up and pull and add this and add that. And, I'd like to think that I have 30 years of coaching experience that's continued to add and mold and mutate and change, because otherwise you just have 1 year of experience and you've done it 30 times.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've got 30 years of experience, doing this thing. So we're continuing trying to add and change the program up, and this makes sense. Let's do this now. But I've been around great mentors and great guys to help lead me along the way, and hopefully I can do that for some of the guys following us.
That's awesome. I feel like, too, you kind of have to get to a place of, like, you're always learning, like, you're always growing, like, you can never be complacent. Even as an athlete, I feel like I kind of got to senior year of high school or junior year, and I'm like, all right, like, this is it, I've arrived kind of thing. And so just having to always continue to, like, okay, I'm learning, growing, stealing things. I love that. I feel like I'm always stealing things from Coach Mack. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I sound like my head coach right now.
Well, you know what? That's the cool part about it. When you do that to your kids, if your kids and your players hear your voice in the back of their head, that's true coaching.
Oh, yeah.
When the moment is here, if they hear your voice and you're not even saying anything, you've truly coached them into being able to prepare themselves. That's what every game's about, is trying to get the kids to make their own decisions, but to do the things that you'd like them to do. So, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You better keep growing, and you better run fast while you're at it, because somebody's chasing you if you're not.
For sure. That's awesome. So I've kind of heard that you really like your players to be very clean-shaven, cut, very on it, which at first I was like, that's kind of funny, because I feel like baseball is got the facial hair, beard, just kind of like baseball has got their own look.
You've heard that around campus, huh? That I'm that guy.
I've heard.
Yeah.
But I think that's awesome. So what's kind of your intent behind that?
I just want guys to look good. I want them to prepare well. I mean, I think there's a certain way, and it's an old school thought, but there's a certain way that you got to present yourself if you want to present yourself in the best light. And so, I think there's some discipline to getting up and shaving every day.
Yeah.
I think there's some discipline in cutting your hair and not looking like somebody on the street right now. I mean, you want to be different. We're trying to separate ourselves from everybody else. So, I'm going to be hard on it initially. I'll loosen up as the spring goes on and give the guys some freedom and give them some room, and but at the same time, my gosh, you better perform, and you better be doing everything else right. If I'm going to give you any leeway, you better be dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
No, that's awesome. I think it's so good, especially like a new team. Like, you want to create that discipline early, and so I think you're so right in saying, like, the small things of like make your bed every morning. You know,
Yeah.
like that's the small things. Start your day off, like make your
Yeah.
bed. So discipline. And so, I mean, like you said it earlier, just kind of carries over into every aspect of your life. So
No question.
you're,
No question. And, I mean, seriously, how you present yourself, it does matter.
yeah,
And so make sure that your first impression with anybody's a good one.
yeah.
Don't let it be a poor one. And I think that's where that all comes from. But it's an old school thought.
I love it.
But I'll loosen up as the springtime goes on, as long as they're taking care of their business.
Of course.
If I'm going up to you and grabbing you by the back of the hair, I'm letting you know, hey, you might want to get this cut.
That's awesome. That is awesome. NIL. It's the big thing out there.
Yeah.
I know it's huge in football, kind of making its way down. I know volleyball kind of has some. Is that a big factor for y'all in recruiting? Do you feel like a lot of guys on the team have NIL deals? Kind of what's your take on that?
I think our guys are doing some things. I don't know that. I don't know to what extent exactly. I'm trying to get up to speed on it myself. I think that kids ought to be able to benefit off of their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
I think that they ought to also have to perform work to get paid.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that I don't think it makes any sense, to put a bunch of money in an 18-year-old kid's pocket with no plan.
Yeah.
And so I want guys to figure it out and NIL is something that we're all going to have to deal with, and whether we like it or not, we're going to have to deal with it, and we better get it figured out as to how to do it right. From as far as coaches, we're not even supposed to be involved in any of it. So,
Right.
I don't think that's the way it is all the way across the country in college baseball. I think there's coaches getting involved, and I think that that's the screw up part. But I think that the coaches that are getting involved, I think they're putting themselves in bad positions.
Yeah.
If you're bringing in these kids and you're promising this and you're promising that, I just think it's going to come back to bite your chemistry. I think it's tough in the locker room, and I think also, the people that are helping provide the NIL money, they're not used to not getting a return on their investment. So,
Yeah.
we've got to figure it out, but I'm pretty hesitant on it. I'll be honest with you. I think if a kid can make some money off of a T-shirt with his name on it and his number and his picture and his autograph, okay, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think you ought to have to do something for it though, and I think Baylor's doing it the right way, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good point of like you can kind of get messy in the locker room, and I think that's so true of like this guy's got this, especially with baseball and the scholarship positions. It's just like a little bit tougher there, so it doesn't create.
Well, we don't need to encourage entitlement.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to be teaching kids to compete, and if you want something, then go earn it, go work for it, go get after it the right way, because that's really how the rest of life's going to be.
Sure.
You're not going to get that job just because you say that, I deserve it, give it to me. You're going to have to go earn it, and you're going to have to produce. And so, I think the kids that produce around here probably get some NIL opportunities, and I'm excited about that for them. And I think that that's probably the way it ought to be. I don't think it should be used in recruiting at all. And I hope that it'll stay out of the recruiting process.
I was able to listen to the press conference before practice the other day. Rankings came out. Obviously, we have tons of like good energy, ready to go. Rankings come out. How does that kind of set the tone for season? How are the guys feeling? How are you feeling about that?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, nobody likes to see where they picked us. I mean, I don't want to be picked there ever again. But we addressed it right off the bat, and I just said, hey, this is the expectations that everybody has for you.
Yeah.
And I said, but guess what? It doesn't even matter what they think. It's all based upon how we perform and what we do. And our entire season is before us, and we get to have something to say about it. If it was just going to be decided on paper, then okay, man, this is bad. Yeah. But if we get a chance to go out and play, then we get a chance to go out and compete and play, and we get a chance to say something about it. And I think that there's been plenty of existing times and things in other sports and even in our sport where teams were picked not to finish so good that ended up finishing so good. So, the thing I told our guys is, hey, we're picked last right now in the conference. we're at least going to meet expectations. They don't expect anything from us, okay?
Great.
Our goal is now to go exceed them. Yeah. And, I think we put it behind us right off the bat. Who cares? Who cares what somebody else thinks? It's depending upon us. I know this, if they picked us to win it, they're not getting ready to hand us the trophy yet. We're going to have to go out and win games. So they picked us they picked us, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't want to ever have it happen again. But we're gonna pick up and go on, and we know that it's all in front of us.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel like for our team last year, kind of not going through the similar thing, but like new team, lost 11 seniors, whole thing, picked mid-conference, and we go to the Sweet 16, just like we ended up the last team. So everyone loves an underdog. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a great story.
Yeah. Let's get it going, and let's go play. And and we've got our challenges ahead of us. There's no doubt. Sure. We're gonna have some bumps in the road, and it might not look pretty every day, but I think our guys are going to compete. I think our guys are ready to compete. I think they love each other and they care about each other, and they're committed to building this thing together. And so I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, me too. I'm pumped. I feel like everyone in Baylor's just like, baseball. Like, we're ready. We're so pumped.
Well, let's go. We got to fill that. We got to fill that stadium. We got to create that atmosphere. Yeah. And the last probably 10 years, there hasn't been a whole lot of atmosphere out there at the ballpark, and we need to recreate it because we've had it before. And I think that there's a lot of people here in Waco and Baylor people that remember back the time when, we really struggled in football and we struggled in men's basketball and we were struggling, and baseball was really the one sport that Baylor people could put on their green and come to the ballpark and go, hey, we're going to win today.
Right.
And we did that a lot. And so now we've got everything in front of us where football's able to win and basketball's able to win, and they're winning at high levels and doing great. And we need to return our place to doing the exact same thing. But we're going to need the fans to show up and be along for the process. And I think it's going to be a fun ride. I'm not saying we're going to win a national championship right now, but by gosh, that's the goal. Yeah. And that's where we're moving towards. I can promise you we're getting better every day.
So exciting. I'm ready. I'm like, let's go. This is going to be so awesome. I'm excited. So I put questions up on the forums whenever I have somebody come in. And so Ashley Hodge, one of our owners, asked, without giving away too much trade secrets, what do you feel like Baylor's Moneyball approach, so to speak, is going to be? What are some techniques for building a championship program at a private school given the scholarship issues?
You just got to find the right fit.
Yeah.
You got to find the right fit. I mean, we've got something unique. I've got class sizes of, average class sizes here are unlike what they are anywhere else. You want the personal experience in the classroom? We've got it. We've got all these things, and it costs a little bit more money to get here, but it's an investment. We got to find the kids who understand that. But that's why our kids do so well in the classroom too. Yeah. They're committed to it. That they were committed to it when they bought their way here. Yeah. I'm hopeful that sometime in the near future we can kind of eliminate that part of it from the partial scholarship sports. I'm hopeful that in baseball we're going to be, in the next couple of years, be a head count sport, a full scholarship sport. Yeah. Because when you think about it, why not?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the crazy thing right now. You talk about NIL. The NIL money right now is all going to the sports that are also the full ride sports. So these are the guys that are already getting a full ride education, getting everything paid for, and now they're on top of that getting the NIL. Well, I get it to some extent, but our guys on average are probably paying $30,000 a year to go to school here.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of room to help these guys out, and we've got to find the right fits. This isn't the right place for everybody, but this is a place that attracts plenty of really good people and plenty of really good players. We're going to get this thing rolling again. It's gonna happen. So it's exciting, and we got to find the academic scholarship guys. We got to find the kids that come from some background that have maybe some ability to help pay, and then we have to sell the benefits of Baylor and what makes us different and be proud of it. And that's not a problem for any of us on our staff. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Can you speak on your staff a little bit? I know it's all new.
Yeah, and I do. My oldest daughter, Mary Connolly, she sent me a note back in like September. Dad, what's it like going to work with the dream team every day? Mm-hmm. And we got exactly who I wanted to get. We got the people I wanted to bring in on the staff and be around every day. I think it's really a great family atmosphere amongst our coaches. I think that translates to our team. I actually had guys earlier in the fall come up to me and go, Coach, you guys are always around each other, and it looks like y'all have so much fun together.
Oh.
And that's cool, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so, we've just really good friends. We trust each other. I know that they have great knowledge to pass on to the guys. Zach Dillon is our recruiting coordinator, our hitting coach.
Okay.
Baylor people know him, former All-American here. I've known Zach since he was 18 years old, 17 years old.
Wow.
And, I know who he is and that he really knows how to coach baseball. He can really develop players, got great ability to identify players. And I trust him implicitly with that. So Zach's our recruiting coordinator, our hitting coach. James Leverton is our pitching coach. James, a former player at Tech, drafted the 7th round, played 7 years professional baseball, been around a lot. He's a guy that's a sponge that soaks up knowledge. This is the guy that when he was playing professionally as a pitcher, he was going and watching the infield coach work with the infielders. And so he's learning, he's gaining knowledge. This is how they do that. This is how they do that. Really a baseball guy. And James worked with me for 6 years over at McLennan, and I saw him develop pitchers and take guys and continue to get better. And so there was no question in my mind who I wanted to bring come be our pitching coach. And that's a big job. I got to have somebody that I can really trust with the pitchers. And so James is that guy, and also a really dynamic recruiter. So those two guys on the recruiting trail for us are big for us. And I know that if either one of them come back and say, hey, I got a guy who can play for us who I like, I don't have to go see him. I don't have to dig. Those guys have done their work. Let's go. This is our guy. Jim Blair is our volunteer assistant right now, and hopefully going to be our full-time assistant. The NCAA, has come up with the legislation eliminating the volunteer position and giving us the ability to make it a full-time position. I'm hopeful that that'll happen here. I believe it will. And again, Jim Blair's got 18 years of Division I coaching experience and is a recruiting coordinator and hitting coach and knows everybody in the state of Texas. The last 3 years he was a high school coach, so he's got great high school connections here in the state. And Jim knows everybody. And we get him on board and we can get him out on the road again, and we just got better. There's no doubt we just got better. So I'm excited to have him with us. I have Darren Thomas as my director of baseball operations. Darren brings 30-plus years of college baseball experience to us, 15 years as a head coach at UTA, off-the-chart knowledge, off-the-chart respect. Going to be a guy that I can really lean on. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? As a head coach perspective, give me some insight. How do I handle this situation? And so, going to be a great reference point for me, and been phenomenal around our guys and helping with equipment and ordering stuff and setting up team travel. And been a lot of fun to have Darren with us, and Darren and I have been long-time friends. So, all of those guys, I've known them for a very long time and have deep relationships with them. Brian Furlong is our director of player development. Okay. And Brian came to us from Xavier University. He was the pitching coach there, really close friends with Coach Dillon. They worked together at the University of Iowa. And Brian brings a really analytical mind, hard-working guy. He's going to help us with all the analytics of the game and help trying to develop each of our players to their fullest potential. He kind of helps coach our coaches as to things we can maybe try and do. And so that's really cool. And then I have Bob Johns and Byron Weathersby are my two chaplains. Couldn't have done any better than that. Byron did it for 13 years for us previously, so I know the impact that he had. I mean, he's probably married 30 of our former players
awesome.
As their pastor before. Yeah. I mean, that's his impact. And then Bob Johns locally. I mean, Bob's a hero, man. I mean, Bob's maybe the best youth pastor in America, and had such an impact on so many people's lives. And so to get these two guys involved around our program was huge. Bo Holland is our strength coach. Got him from Mississippi State. Bo's been a great addition. Really works well with our guys. Great energy. The guys really respect him, like him. Good. I'm blessed beyond measure to have these guys with me, and it blows me away the support we have from our administration to be able to bring this kind of a staff together. And so our kids are blessed. I know that, and I'm blessed, and so they make me better. And and any head coach is only as good as his staff. Yeah. I mean, that's just true, and those guys represent me everywhere they go, and we together represent Baylor everywhere we go, and so I'm so excited about that because I know what kind of people they are and I know who they are. We're blessed.
That's awesome. I think it's just so nice for you as a head coach too, of like you can breathe, like it's going to be taken care of, like who you're putting out there, and a good representation of Baylor, and makes your job easier. I mean, you already have so much on your plate, but to know that you have people on your staff that are going to think like-minded, it's going to be
Well, and
really
they're all
nice.
with us. They're all with us on everything. Those guys have seen me make mistakes before. I've seen them make mistakes before, but I know who they are, and they know my effort. I know their effort, and I can promise you, nobody's going to love Baylor more than they do. These guys are all in, and they're all in on our mission for our school and preparing champions for life. And so, that's what this is all about. It's fun. We've got a great staff, unbelievable staff, and God bless us with that.
Love it. One Out-of-Way Bear asks, what are your 3 favorite places to eat at Waco?
That's cool. Ask the fat guy where he likes to eat. Golly, now see you're throwing me under the bus. I'm gonna.
You're local.
Yeah, I'm a local, no question. I'm a local, and I'm gonna have some restaurant owners going, "What are you talking about? You didn't even mention me." You gotta love George's.
Oh yeah.
Me and my wife, we eat probably once a week at least at Casa de Castillo.
Okay.
That's our Tex-Mex place. We love those folks. Baylor people there too. Sammy's such a great guy at George's that helps us there. I love breakfast out at the coffee shop in McGregor.
Okay.
The breakfast buffet is not too bad.
All right.
So there's a lot of good there. I'm a Shorty's Pizza fan. I'm a Marco's Pizza fan. There's just a lot of places around town that are really great places to eat.
That's awesome.
And I try them all out. But yeah, ask the fat guy where he likes to eat. Real cool.
I feel like I always tell everybody, if it's like, what is there to do in Waco? I'm like, you can eat your way through Waco. Don't you worry about it. We have tons of fun coffee shops. George's is always so good. VTEX, however
Oh,
you
yeah,
say
VTEX is great.
So good.
VTEX is great. Golly, there's so many great places with really good people running their restaurants.
For sure. This is kind of a fun fact. I'm on I guess it's my 13th birthday, just being Baylor family. My mom always would make me like a birthday dinner, and so I was like, I want a gut pack for dinner. So we did homemade gut packs for my 13th birthday, and we had them in the styrofoam box, like at home. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, not many people probably do the gut pack
probably not, but that just speaks to how good
But it's probably a pretty good choice too.
It's pretty good. So for everyone that comes on, I always ask them this question, kind of to close it off. If you could write a letter to sports saying anything you wanted to, what would you say and why?
Wow, really good question. Dear sports, you have such an impact on our society. You can be such a positive reflection of it. You can show people how to deal with adversity. You can show people how to fight through adversity. You can show people the joys of winning and competing. Don't lose that. Take care of the people that are involved. Make sure that you always treat people over the competition. Don't let the competition define you, but understand the impact that you have in creating champions across our country. And I really believe that. I think the sports is such a great teacher of life. Baseball is such a great teacher of life. What other aspect of the sporting world can you be successful 3 out of 10 times in getting a base hit and you're considered great? You failed 7 out of 10 times, but you have to learn to deal with the ups and downs and be a good teammate. So. Yeah, dear sports, don't lose sight of who you are and what you're about. You're about creating champions for life. You're about teaching our country and our children how to enjoy competition and how to play fair and how to compete to their highest extent and to bring the very best out of people. And so I'm blessed to be a coach, and I'm blessed to be in sports, and I'm thankful that God let me do this. It's been my goal for my entire life to do this. I haven't been to work a day in my life. I'm blessed to be a part of the sporting world.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on today. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate the opportunity. I've really enjoyed it and getting to know you, and tell Miss Cogdill that I said hi.
I will.
All right.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope everyone enjoyed that conversation just as much as I did. I am so pumped for baseball season, so make sure that y'all do fill the stands for Mitch Thompson. Make sure to stay subscribed on YouTube, follow our Instagram, Twitter, all the things to stay updated on Deer Sports. And until next time, this is Faith Lynch with Deer Sports.